Hi everyone, it's Rosa here, and I'd like to discuss about discovering your life purpose. Have you ever thought about just being in the now? There's a lot of books and a lot of lectures about being in the now energy, but do we practice this? Do we actually practice being in the now moment? It's one thing to read it, one thing to go to a lecture and hear someone speaking about it, than to actually have it a part as your daily practice. And just sitting, like what I'm doing right now, just sitting in the grass and just visualizing this moment stretching out to be eternity, where there is no beginning and there's no ending. All there is just the moments that define your life. What are the moments that define your life, really? When we contemplate under the sun with the trees by our side, out in nature, quiet enough, still enough to actually contemplate about the moments that define us. The nowness of the nothingness. It defines us beyond any degree, defines us beyond any raise we got at our job, any career transition, any financial opportunity or financial gain, successes and victories. Because this here and now moment defines us beyond all of that, because we have an opportunity to know who we are. To know who we are. So discovering your life purpose is simply asking the question that the spiritual community asks all too well, but this question isn't really asked so much in institution, in schools. Who are you? Who are you? No, yes, I'm Rosa, I'm a writer, this is my major, I love English, I like to teach English, I would like to write novels, this is who I am. That's what we ask, or what we expect. When we ask little kids, who are you, Johnny? I would like to be an astronaut, that's who I am, and I play in the dirt, that's who I am, and I like trucks, that's who I am. But I feel if we are willing to go deeper than that, we can actually find in us that can't be defined or described with the vocabulary that we have. It goes beyond that. It transcends that. Transcends, I am Rosa, and I like English, and I like horses, and I like dolphins. It goes beyond that. That is merely our personality. But when we transcend our personality, we find that who we are is really just is nothing. But hearing that, it sounds like we're devaluing ourselves when we say we're just simply nothing. But in truth, when we are nothing, it's like we're open to everything. We're willing to explore everything. We're not bound to anything. We're not tied to anything. We're flexible, we're adaptable. Just like trees and plants. They don't have the same human vocabulary, they don't talk as we do. And I really honestly feel like they don't have a definition for who they are. I really feel a tree doesn't say to a leaf, I am a tree and you are a leaf. I really don't feel a rose, a red one, says to a white one, I am a red rose and you are a white rose. I really feel that doesn't take place, but us being humans, in order for us to make sense of everything, we have to condense it down. And you notice that. We condense it down, and even with the Holy Bible, with the symbolism, life is just one big gigantic symbol. Even the ancients, they understood that it is all about symbols. The Bible is a symbol, but I feel we condense it down. You could say almost like dumb it down, where we can make sense of it. And our only way to make sense is to categorize, and categorization makes things very literal. Everything becomes very literal. A tree becomes just, everything is like objective. It's either right or it's wrong. And I feel like we've explored that, especially when it comes to the Holy Bible and religion. This right and this wrong. It's either you're a tree or you're not a tree. It's either you're a sinner or you are a saint. That's how it is. But I feel trees are not like that. Their energy is very much, I am a tree, but I'm also a leaf, and I'm also a seed, and I'm also grass, and I'm also soil, and I'm dirt as well. Because they connect the dots. Everything, when it's categorized, it's hard to make the links. It's hard to correlate the things together when they just become these very set in stone categorizations. A leaf is a leaf, a tree is a tree. You know, a piece of grass is not a tree. It's just a simple fact. A piece of grass is not a tree. But when we really want to discover ourselves, if we really want children, to ask themselves the most important question, who are you? Who are you, Billy boy? And we want an answer that is freeing, then we got to understand that who we are is not a product of where we've been, how much money we make, our credentials, our passions, our interests. All of that, yes, is important because it defines our personality in this particular lifetime. But a tree, yes, is a tree, but it understands that all things undergo a transition. So there's no reason to cling or to attach onto its state of being. Because a tree, like a leaf, particularly a leaf, it transitions, it goes through cycles, meaning it dies and it's reborn. Just like you, if you allow yourself to, your personality can be like a leaf, and leaves fall. They fall off every fall, and then they're reborn every spring. And you can be like that. You just have to be willing to be in that energy of nothing, not to define yourself, to categorize yourself as either you're worthy or either you're not worthy, either you're stupid or either you're intellectual, either you're in love or you're not in love. Just simply sit in the now energy, and when you're just infinite, when you can really just let go of the future, you can let go of the past, it just becomes blank. You'll all experience this, because every living thing will experience this. Every country will experience freedom and liberation, just like every country's experienced a civil war, particularly like the civil war that's going on in Syria right now. We've experienced that too, in America, if you're American. And loads and loads of countries have experienced that as well. It's kind of interesting how we're all just kind of reflecting each other. And I'm talking about nations, geographic regions around the world. We are reflecting each other. So something that, America's undergone, maybe America right now is in a state of harmony, but, for example, Syria is going through something very similar that America went through. Civil war. Very similar to what Central America's went through. So we are all reflecting each other. It's just we're not experiencing all of these transitions like cloning each other at the exact same time. It all happens in these different periods. It's like I go, and then you go, and then you go, and then we kind of switch off, and then I go, and then you go. It's kind of like what we're doing with geographic regions. Because could you imagine if just the whole planet in one period undergo like a civil war, like every country that was suppressed, which most countries are suppressed. There is suppression going on. It's a nationwide suppression. Even American has suppression. It's just the suppression isn't really recognized. And when it's not recognized, then it's kind of okay, society. But when it's recognized, such a serious with the suppression, it's caused civil war. Okay, and we've had that, with Great Britain and wanting to leave Great Britain and the whole Constitution, being suppressed. But we can't all experience it at once. Like the whole world can't experience, like, let's go be a riot. No. So we do it in these increments of periods of time where you go and then you go and then you go. Okay, I'm going to go and then, okay, I'm going to wait and we're going to go a little later than you. And that's what the whole point of compassion is. I feel like we learn compassion when we understand that we're all kind of going through the same thing. It may not be at the exact same time, but we all will undergo it. The same thing. We can really understand, we can really have compassion. And get out of this, you're a sinner, you're a saint, either I'll judge you or I won't judge you. We'll just have this energy of, been through it. Been through it, or we've been through it, or geographic region's been through it, something similar, and I will help you because I have the tools, because I've been through it and I transitioned out of it, and I will help you. I'll help you. I'll help your government, or I'll help your school system, or I'll help your policies, your laws, your rules. I think that's what we are really trying to do. Collectively. But first, it is getting rid of the suppression, because it's very hard to know yourself when you're very suppressed. Meaning, suppression is a form of you're watching a lot of TV, or you're reading a lot of books, or you go to school, or you go to work, and you start seeing a pattern, you start seeing an expectation. You start noticing there's an expectation, and you begin to reflect that. And there's a lot of conspiracies and a lot of controversies about, this suppression as a form of control, and you may agree with that or you may not agree with that. Either way, it's just there. It's there. A lot of things such as Steve Jobs, he was into meditation, but do you ever hear that? Do you ever hear that he was a Buddhist? And my mom and I were talking about he meditated up in a cave with a Buddha teacher, and he got this idea. Do you ever hear that? No, because it's unlocking the mind. Meditation, peace, relaxation. It's a form of enlightening yourself, and when you have the whole population enlighten themselves, anything that is suppressed, anything that is I had a word and I couldn't think of it. I was like, oh my god, it's crippling. I was trying to say a word that was for crippling a society. But whenever you have a society actually kind of I'm going to kind of get my mind away from that television show that makes me feel like I'm weird because I'm actually quiet when I shouldn't be, because I'm African American, and in TV shows African Americans are loud, so I think I should be loud. That kind of thing. We have people literally just sitting in the grass, meditating, and coming up with their own ideas of life. We'll actually have a return of our ancient wisdom that predates this whole European colonization or European kind of, virus, virus, and not in a negative or a positive, a neutral, as in a virus that spreads, consumes, conquers, and moves on to new territories. And I feel like there's more. I feel Egypt is the hub and has been the hub before documented history. We all resonate with Egypt, and even in movies, in movies where they show the planet, they always show Africa first, because Africa is this energy I feel is the first continent we've had intellectual ETs living on. ETs that are now humans. And we've forgotten, sort of, about that, this amnesia. And there's much amnesia. You could say it's suppression from, too much TV. Because all of that stuff doesn't affect the TV you watch, the foods you eat, the things you read, the things you believe in. it does have an effect. Either it's supporting your amnesia or it's not. But everyone will come to this conclusion where it's not working. You know that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'd rather leave the planet than be here? Yes, many people have had that feeling. And so if you've ever had that feeling, don't be alone. Feel alone, because many people have had that feeling of, I really don't want to be on the planet anymore. And that is simply you just fed up. You don't want to participate anymore in this matrix systems, this suppression going on, because you don't feel free. Because when things are phallus, it doesn't feel good. It feels kind of icky, It's kind of icky. It's like eating some phallus is like, for example, you could say inorganic. I like to say inorganic chocolate. That milk chocolate stuff. And the reason it doesn't feel maybe so good as like an organic chocolate, dark chocolate, one that's right off of like the cocoa bean, it doesn't feel as good because it's not true. It's not a truth. It's not its organic, most natural form. And anything that's not organic or most natural, we tend to, it irritates us. For example, dark chocolate sits much well in my stomach than a milky chocolate. Milky chocolate upsets my stomach because of the milk, and the way the milk is processed and created. It's created in a tainted, spoiled, just unnatural way. So that's going inside of my stomach, the milk, the spoiled, the unnatural processing of it. But the dark chocolate, it sits well because it's organic, it's a natural flow. So I feel the more we step into that energy, not away, into the energy of questioning, being like, is this how reality is supposed to be? Am I supposed to just have a 9-to-5 job and then spend my life just, paying my bills or just trying to climb up the corporate ladder? Is that my life? You'll begin to have a distaste for certain things, even foods. Foods might be the first thing you have a distaste for, like milk chocolate. And then it might be things such as regulations or policies or institutions or corporations you might find a distaste for, like, this doesn't feel right. And just trust that that feeling of doesn't feel right is just pushing you to go deeper, because it doesn't feel right energy is, hey, there's something here that's not true. It's not real. It's like, this isn't real. So you need to kind of go deeper, and you're not going to find it just by looking at a magazine or looking on TV on a show about aliens or past lives or going to school and sitting at a history class. No, you're only going to find that truth because everything is right now is a product or is reflecting that kind of illusionary matrix system. You're not going to find truth sitting in a history class. When they talk about Egypt, they're not going to talk about it being a hub for like basically ETs or ancient Lemuria and Atlantis, unless it's just like some science fiction stuff. You have to go within. And that is kind of the tricky part, because we all want to educate ourselves in spirituality and really understand like what is going on. Why do I feel like things are not right? We're looking for that externally in a book, but we're not going to find that in a book. We're not going to find that externally. You're only going to have it by channeling your own messages. So when you're in the now moment, your time is stretched infinitely. So when it's stretched infinitely, you're not as stretched. You're not as stressed to get everything done you think you need to get done in order for a bright future. You let all that go, and you simply are contemplating, just like Albert Einstein did. Just contemplating, staring at a fire like he did, or staring at grass or staring at a tree. And in that energy of just letting go, letting your mind go, being like this nothing energy. You're not anything of the future, you're not anything of the past, you're just this nothing. You can truly feel what is the truth. What is the truth of this particular world? Because it requires you to go deep. It does. It does require. It's kind of like digging a well in the desert. Sometimes you gotta dig deep. You gotta dig a little deeper than, what you expect, because the water, it may be really deep under that sand. So you gotta really dig. And you can't give up. You can't give up. Because, what else are you going to do? It's like, whatever you're going to do with your time and in your life. If you give up, I guess you could just have a mundane life and just live comfortably, accepting that the feeling you have is there's something not right. But that's kind of irritating. But at the same time, you need to accept the reality the way it is. Because when you don't accept it, then that's another irritation. So it's about moderation and balance. You feel that this doesn't feel right, whatever it is, because it's intuitively telling you need to explore something about yourself, about what you're eating, what you're watching, what you believe. But at the same time, you don't want to reject or resist what's happening right now. You need to embrace it, accept it. Okay, not try to bend it to fold it. As in the Matrix movie, he bends it and folds the time and space and all that. But a foundation, a way of kind of, you could say, being like the Matrix and bending time and space is recognizing that it's there, but you're not there. So it's like when you're not there, it's like you're not a product of it, so therefore you're free. It's like it's there, but I'm not there. So I'm kind of like free to like do whatever I want because I'm not in it. And that's a kind of a reverse psychology, I guess, energy when it comes to relating to the Matrix and the bending of it, changing it, altering it, manifestation. And that's what everything is. It's just a manifestation of the energy that we're all connected to, like the universe. A solar system is connected to the universe. A galaxy is connected to the universe. There's just there's a variety of different solar systems, but they're all a part of the same energy. They just go through these lives and deaths and transitions, and just goes on and on and on for eternity. So just enjoy, because this is a little eternity for a while. So just don't be so critical on yourself to be this or to be that, because who wants to live a life just being stressed? Alan Watts said, "It is absolutely stupid to spend your life doing miserable things just to go on living." Alan Watts said that. He said, "It's rather to live a short life and do what you love than live a long life absolutely miserable." And it's true. It's true. If you die in a bungee accident, it's okay. If you die in a skydiving accident, it's okay. I'm not saying to go out there and be reckless, but if there's something you love, like something like bungee jumping, if you love that, do that. Do that. Death is not something we should fear. It's merely just a transition. And I would rather live this physical life doing something extremely exciting for my soul than just not try anything and just, be stagnant. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this channeled message, I was sharing with you guys. So, okay. Have a wonderful spring energy.